Commander Elias Trent stood at the edge of the landing platform, staring out at the dusty red sky of Zarek 7. The wind was dry and sharp, carrying the smell of metal and smoke. Zarek 7 was a mining colony, far from Earth and far from any kind of peace. It was not a place people visited by choice. Elias had been sent by the Earth Peace Council. His mission was simple: inspect the colony and make sure everything was working within policy. But Elias knew what that really meant. It meant looking the other way. It meant signing papers without asking questions. He had done this kind of job before, but something about Zarek 7 felt different. The moment he stepped off his ship, he could feel the pain in the air. It wasn't just heat or dust. It was something deeper. A guard walked up to him. "Commander Trent, welcome." "Duh. Overseer is waiting." Elias nodded. "Take me to him." They drove in a dirty ground vehicle through the center of the colony. Elias looked out the window. He saw workers, dozens of them, moving slowly under the sun. Most were aliens from different planets, but many of them looked the same: tired, thin, silent. They wore collars around their necks and machines on their backs that tracked their movements. Some were large and strong. Among them were a few who looked like beasts, half animal, half human, thick fur, long arms, glowing eyes. One of them stood taller than the rest. She had chains on her wrists and bruises on her shoulders. Elias leaned forward. "Who is she?" "Ow." Guard glanced out. "That's a beast woman. They call her Correa. A strong one. She causes trouble sometimes." "What kind of trouble?" "She fights back." Elias didn't say anything. He just kept watching as the vehicle moved forward. Inside the Overseer's building, Elias met the man in charge. Overseer Klen was short and round, with a forced smile. "We do our best out here," Klen said. "The aliens can be difficult, but they're hard workers. You'll see everything's under control." Elias nodded, though he didn't believe a word. "I'd like to inspect the labor zones myself," he said. "No guards, just me." Klen frowned. "That's not standard." Elias's voice was calm but firm. "I don't follow standards, I follow truth." Klen smiled again, though this time it was smaller. "Of course, as you wish." That evening, Elias walked alone near the edge of the mines. It was almost dark, and most workers were being led back to their camps. That's when he heard it, a sharp cry, then silence. He followed the sound and saw a group of guards standing in a circle. Inside the circle was Correa. She was on her knees, breathing hard. One of the guards kicked her and she fell, but she didn't cry out. Another guard lifted a shock stick. Elias stepped forward. "That's enough." The guards turned. One of them laughed, just teaching her a lesson. She bit a handler. Elias walked into the circle, said, "That's enough. Let her go. She's dangerous." Elias looked at Correa. Eyes were glowing, full of fire, but she didn't speak. "She didn't need to. She's not the problem," Elias said. "You are." The guards hesitated. One of them lowered his weapon. Slowly they backed away, leaving Correa on the ground. Elias knelt beside her and reached into his coat for a water capsule. Correa stared at him. "I'm not your enemy," said softly. She didn't take the water, but she didn't look away. Later that night, Elias asked for access to the worker files. The data showed long hours, little rest, and many injuries. Correa's name came up more than once. Each report said the same thing: refused order, resisted punishment. Elias closed the file, sat back in his chair, and thought about her eyes, how they didn't show fear, only strength. He remembered something an old soldier once told him: "You can measure a person not by how they obeyed, by how they rise when beaten down." Correa had risen again and again. The next day, Elias visited the worker camps. Most people stayed away from him, but some watched him from shadows. He moved slowly, respectfully, saying nothing. Then he saw Correa again, her sitting by a fire, her arm wrapped in cloth. Elias walked over and sat on a nearby rock. "You protected someone," he said. "Didn't you?" Correa looked at him. Her voice was low and rough. "A young one. They struck him for falling. I stopped them. You were punished." She nodded once, as always. "Do you keep fighting?" Correa looked at the fire. Because if I stop, they win. And I was not born to kneel. Elias looked at her, and a quiet respect grew in his heart. You don't have to kneel, he said. Not anymore. She looked at him. For the first time, her eyes softened. That night, Elias wrote a message in his personal log. There is courage. Here there is pain too. But above all, there is injustice. If I walk away now, I will be no better than those who cause it. Something is coming. I can feel it. And I think I've already chosen a side. The morning on Xerox 7 began with the sound of alarms and machines. The mines never stopped. Even when the wind howled or the sun burned too hot, the workers were forced to keep digging. But today, Commander Elias Trent was not inside his assigned quarters. He was walking along the edges of the worker zones again, listening, learning. Elias now knew the truth. These workers were not just tired, they were trapped. Their contracts were lies, their choices were taken. And among them was one who refused to break Correa. Elias noticed the way the guards looked at him now. Not with respect, but with suspicion. He had stood in their way. He had said enough. That made him dangerous. Not because he had weapons, but because he had a voice. And people were starting to notice. Some workers looked up when he passed. They didn't smile. But they didn't look away either. Even a glance meant something in a place like this. Later that day, Elias visited the small medical tent, where injured workers were treated. It was a poor setup, only basic supplies and no proper care. He found an old alien doctor named Jarn with shaking hands and tired eyes. You treat them all alone? Elias asked. Jarn nodded slowly. Too many wounds? Not enough time. The guards let you treat the beast folk. The doctor looked down. Only if they think she's still useful. Elias paused. What if I send her to be treated properly? Jarn smiled sadly. Then they will punish her more, or worse, punish you. That evening, Elias returned to the outer zone. Correa was sitting alone, sharpening a piece of broken metal into a blade. Not to attack, but for protection. Shh. She looked up when Elias approached. You shouldn't be here, she said. I came anyway, Elias answered. You helped me yesterday. That was foolish. I don't regret it. She stared at him. Her fur was stained with dirt and blood. Her left arm was swollen, but she didn't show pain. Why do you care? She asked. Elias sat on a low crate near her. Because I've seen too many like you people who stand alone. People who fight without help. It's not right. No one helps here, Kara said. They're afraid. Maybe they just need someone to go first. Over the next few days, Elias began moving quietly through the colony. He watched the guards, noted the weak points in their routines. He noticed which aliens worked near each other. He also started speaking to those who looked curious, or who glanced at Correa with respect. He didn't talk of war or escape. Not yet. He talked of choice, of honor, of standing together. Some ignored him. Some listened in silence, but a few. Nodded, Correa met Elias again by the ruins of an old storage unit. Far from the main path, she crossed her arms. I see what you're doing. I'm not doing anything illegal, Elias said, half smiling. You speak to workers. You learn. Things. You ask too many questions. I'm a peacekeeper. That's what I'm supposed to do. No, she said. Peacekeepers just sign papers and leave. Elias met her gaze. Then maybe I'm not like the others. Correa was. Quiet for a moment, then she asked, Do you want to help us, or save us? Elias thought carefully before answering, I want to give you back what they stole. Your voice, your choice, the rest is up to you. That night, a young alien boy named Tyr fell during a shift. His leg was badly hurt. To keep working, but he cried out. Kara stood in front of him. Again, Elias arrived just in time. Let him rest. I'll report this. The guard raised his stick, but Elias stared him down. You want to strike someone? He said calmly. Then strike me. But be ready to answer to Earth command. The guard hesitated, then backed away. The boy was allowed to sit. Karia didn't say thank you. She simply stood beside Elias. 2 figures in the dust. Not enemies, not slaves, just beings standing tall. Later, in the privacy of his quarters, Elias opened a hidden datapad. He began recording. The workers on Xerox 7 are living under pressure and fear. I have found evidence of mistreatment and forced labor. I am collecting more. If I disappear, let this report be sent to Earth Peace Command immediately. He saved the file in a secure drive and hid it in a secret compartment under his desk. The next day, Elias was called to the Overseer's office. Overseer Clen's face was tight with false smiles. You've been very busy, Commander. I'm doing my job, yes, but perhaps you're overstepping. Talking to workers, questioning orders. This is a mining zone, not a school for feelings. I'm following truth, Elias said. And the truth is ugly here. The Overseer leaned forward. You're starting to cause problems, I suggest. You stay in your place. Elias stood. Hey. My place is with justice. He walked out without another word. Outside, Elias found Correa waiting. She had seen the tension in his face. They warned you? Yes, then they will act soon. Be ready. I am. As the sun set over Xerox 7, the colony was quiet. But inside the camps, a change was beginning. Workers whispered to one another. Some shared food, others passed signals. No one shouted. No one fought, but something was rising. A silent rebellion. It had no leader, but it had a heart, and that heart beat in those who refused to break. The workers still marched to the mines. The guards still shouted. The machines still roared. But under all the noise, there was something else, a quiet strength moving between the workers. Shared with just a glance or a small nod, Commander Elias Trent noticed it. He had planted the seed, but now it was growing. People were no longer alone. They'd started to believe just a little that things could change. But something else was bothering Elias, something deeper than the guards or the cruel shifts. It was a mystery under their feet. It began when one of the beast folk miners, an old male named Gore, told Elias about strange sounds deep in the tunnels. Rocks hum down there, Gore said one night in the shadows. The walls glow sometimes, but only when Correa walks close. Elias looked surprised. The walls glow, not with light, Gore said. With memory, you'd have to see it to believe. Elias nodded slowly. Then I will.
Alice.
The next day, Elias asked Correa to guide him through the lower mines. She said nothing at first, but agreed with a slight nod. They moved past the main mining areas, down into an older tunnel blocked off by fallen stone and signs marked unstable. Kara pushed the stones aside like they weighed nothing. It's safe, she said quietly. They don't want workers coming down here because they know something sleeps beneath. They walked slowly, the light from Ilias's torch bouncing off the stone walls. Then, the torch flickered and something strange happened. The walls began to shine. Not brightly, but with a soft, natural glow, like starlight trapped in stone. Elias turned off his torch. Still the walls glowed around Correa. He looked at her in wonder. It reacts to you. Correa touched the stone gently. This is not just a mine. This was once a temple. My people guarded it before we were hunted, before we were turned into slaves. Elias stepped closer. Why haven't you told anyone? They would destroy it, she said, or take it like they take everything. In the center of the glowing room, they found a tall, broken structure, part stone, part metal, shaped like a gate. Strange. Symbols covered it. Correa placed her hand on it, and the symbols lit up softly. This is called the Heartstone Gate, she said. It was made long ago by our ancestors. It connects worlds. It only opens for those with the old blood. Elias stared at her. You're not just a worker, you're a descendant of something powerful. Correa looked down. That is why they fear us. That is why they chain us. Elias stepped forward. Then we need to protect this. If they find out, they'll take it apart. Correa nodded. Then we tell no one. Not yet, Elias agreed. But when the time is right, this could change everything. Back in the colony, Overseer Clen was growing more restless. Guards had reported unusual behavior from the workers. Productivity was dropping. Fewer accidents were being reported. Even fewer fights. We need to remind them who's in charge, Clem said to his security. Chief, find that beast woman, make her an example. The order was given. Elias was in his room that night. Reviewing the video he had taken of the glowing Heartstone Gate, he backed up the footage to his hidden drive, labeling it Zarek-7 Evidence Due. Not delete. Suddenly, a message appeared on his monitor. Unauthorized entry reported in Sector 3. Ilias's heart dropped. That was near Correa's camp. He ran out without thinking. 3 guards had cornered Correa near a storage shed. One of them raised a stun rod. You think you're better than us? You think you can lead them? Correa didn't flinch. I stand for what is right. I will not bow. Before the first strike could land, Elias stepped between them. I told you, Elias said calmly. This ends now. You don't give orders here, the guard growled. Elias showed his badge. By Earth Peace Law, I do. But the guard didn't care. He raised the rod anyway. Correa moved fast, blocking it with her arm and shoving him back without striking. Another guard moved forward. This time, something changed. A group of workers nearby had heard the noise. They stepped out from the shadows not to fight, but to watch. 20, 30, more. All silent. All standing together, the guards looked around nervously. Elias spoke loud and clear. You punish one, but we see all. You hurt one, but we. Remember, this colony doesn't belong to fear anymore. The lead guard backed away. They left without another word. Correa looked at Elias. You didn't have to protect me. He looked around at the silent crowd. I wasn't just protecting you. The next day something strange happened. Workers began working slower, but smarter. They passed tools to each other with quiet teamwork. They shared food in secret. Injured. Workers were hidden and helped before guards could see them. Everyone was watching, waiting, thinking, and deep beneath the ground. The old temple slept alive with light, alive with memory. That night, Elias recorded another message. There's more here than labor abuse. There's culture, history, secrets that were never meant to be lost. And if we're not careful, the wrong people will take it all. I will not let that happen. It's not while I still stand. The heat on Zarek-7 was worse than usual. The sky was full of red dust, and the wind blew sharp against the colony buildings. Even the guards looked tired. But deep inside the mining zone, something stronger than heat was rising hope. Elias. Trent walked through the worker area with calm steps. The alien workers no longer turned away when they saw him. Some even nodded. Correa walked beside him. Her arm was still bruised, but her steps were strong. She had not spoken much since the last night's event. But her eyes burned with focus. You've started something, Correa said as they passed a group of young miners. Not me, Elias replied. We did. Inside the overseer's office, Clem slammed his fist on the table. They're getting too bold. The workers are slow. The guards are nervous. Deader. And that peacekeeper, he thinks he runs this place. The head of security leaned in. We can break this. All we need is one moment. One punishment. One lesson. Clem gave a cruel smile. Then give them a show. That evening, a bell rang across the colonia, sound not heard in months. It meant one thing: public discipline. All workers were ordered to the square. Elias stood at the edge of the crowd, heart tight. He had a bad feeling. 2 guards dragged someone forward. It was a small alien boy tier, the one Correa had once protected. Elias moved quickly, but Correa was faster. She stepped between the guards and the boy. Why him? She demanded. He stole food. One guard said, He's a child. Elias shouted. The head guard raised his shock staff. This isn't your concern anymore, peacekeeper. Correa turned to the crowd. Her voice was strong and clear. This is not justice. This is fear. We are not tools. We are not animals. We have hearts, and we are many. The guard stepped closer. The staff crackled. Elias took one step forward. His voice cut through the air. Enough. The word stopped everything. The guards froze. The workers went silent. Correa turned and looked at Elias. He walked forward, slowly, standing between the boy and the guards. His face was calm, but his voice was like steel. You strike him, and you strike me, and Earth will see it. An entire galaxy will see it. You can't hide anymore. The guards hesitated. For the first time, they looked unsure. Then a sound came from the crowd. Clang, a tool hit the ground. Then another, and another. One by one, the workers began to drop their tools. Not as a threat, but as a message. We will not work under fear. The guards looked around. They were outnumbered, even if the workers had no weapons. They were being watched. Overseer Klen watched from a high window, pale with anger. He's turning them all? If we don't stop this now, we lose the whole colony. The security chief shook his head. We already have. Later that night, Correa sat beside Elias near the worker tents. The boy, Ter, was safe and asleep nearby. You said the word, she said softly. Elias looked at her. What word? Enough. He smiled. It seemed like the right time. Correa nodded. It was. That same night, the workers met in secret. They didn't shout. They didn't plan to attack. They only spoke of peace, of standing together, of refusing to be broken again. Elias told them of the ancient temple below, of the Heartstone Gate. It belongs to Correa's people, he said. It is not just history. It is proof. Proof that they were once protectors, not just miners. The workers listened with wide eyes. Even those from other worlds felt something stir inside. What do we do now? One alien asked. Elias looked around. We wait. We stay strong. And when the right time comes, we show the universe who we really are. The next day, a large ship arrived on Xerox 7. It was not from Earth Peace Command. It was a corporate enforcer vessel. Soldiers stepped out in black armor. Their leader carried a message. Orders from Central Command. Peacekeeper Elias Trent is to leave the colony at once. This operation is now under corporate protection. Elias read the order. It had an official stamp, but it didn't feel right. He looked at Correa. They're trying to silence us. She nodded. Then we must speak louder. Before leaving, Elias sent out a final message from his ship. He used a secure line, one the corporation couldn't block. To Earth Peace Council, this colony is hiding truth and history. The workers here are more than labor. They are survivors. I will not leave them behind. If I disappear, follow my files. Follow the truth. Commander Elias Trent, he pressed. Send. Then Elias did something no one expected. He walked off the ship and stayed. I'm not going, he told the enforcers. And if you try to remove me by force, the world will know. The enforcers hesitated. Cameras were watching. Workers were watching. Too many eyes. Too much truth. That night, Correa met Elias near the old mine entrance. She held a small stone in her hand. It glowed with the same soft light as the temple walls. This stone was passed through my family for generations, she said. It means we are protectors. She placed it in Elias's hand. Now you are one too. Elias looked at her, quiet, for a moment, then he closed his hand around the stone. I will protect all of you, no matter the cost. Far beneath the surface, the Heartstone Gate began to glow again. The fire had been lit, and it would not go out. The sky above Xerox Evan turned a deeper red as another hot wind swept across the colony. But this time, the wind brought more than just dust. It carried tension. The guards were nervous. The workers were watching. Enforcers had arrived, but they were doing nothing. Something had changed, and everyone could feel it. Commander Elias Trent stood near the worker camp, looking up at the black enforcer ship that now sat in the middle of the colony. Soldiers came out during the day, but said little. They only stood in corners, watching with blank faces. They're waiting, Elias said quietly to Correa. Waiting for orders. Or waiting for us to break, Correa answered. But we won't, Elias replied. Correa nodded. Not anymore. In the days that followed, the workers stopped working. Not in anger, but in unity. First, the beast folk laid down their tools, Then the others followed: miners, cooks, mechanics. They stood near the machines, arms crossed, eyes calm. They didn't shout. They didn't run. They just stopped. It wasn't rebellion. It was silence. And silence is a powerful thing. The overseer was furious. He called for Elias. "You caused this," Clem shouted. "They won't dig. They won't move." Elias stayed calm. "They're tired of being treated like machines, like slaves." "Our labor units?" Clem snapped. "No," Elias said firmly. "They are people, and the world is watching now." Clem's face turned red. "We'll force them back." "You can try," Elias said, standing tall. "But then every camera, every channel, every planet will see the truth." The overseer froze. He knew Elias was right. That night, Elias sent another message to Earth Peace Council. "Workers of Zarek 7 have stopped working peacefully. They are asking for freedom and safety. I ask Earth to intervene before this becomes something worse. The people here have suffered enough." He attached videos of the workers standing still in front of the machines, of Caria speaking calmly to others, of guards shouting with no power left in their words. He ended the message with, "The last chain is ready to break. Help us break it the right way." Yes. In the ruins deep beneath the mine, the Heartstone Gate glowed stronger than ever. Correa stood before it with Elias. "It responds to the change," she said. "It feels what we feel." Elias looked at the light. Then, "It knows we're ready." Correa touched the old stone. Symbols appeared again. She whispered something in her native language. The glow spread wider across the walls, as if the temple itself was waking. "It remembers us," she said. "We are not lost anymore." Suddenly, a sound echoed through the temple, a voice coming from Elias's small communicator. He answered quickly. "Commander Trent speaking," a voice replied, sharp and official. "This is Earth Peace Council. We received your message. Your evidence is clear. We are sending a peace team to Zarek 7. Corporate control of the colony is under review." Elias felt his chest tighten with relief. He looked at Correa. "They're coming," he said. "We just need to hold on a little longer." Correa smiled. The first true smile Elias had ever seen on her face. But the corporation had one last move. 2 days before Earth's peace team was expected to arrive, Overseer Clen gave a secret order. "Shut down the old tunnels," he told. "His soldiers, seal them with explosives. There's something down there that proves their history. We bury it." Elias was warned by Jarn, the old alien doctor. "They are moving now," Jarn said in a whisper. "Guards with explosives." Heading to the lower mines, Elias ran. He found Correa already moving fast toward the temple gate. "We must stop them," she said. They reached the lower level just in time. 3 guards were setting charges near the entrance. "Stop," Elias shouted. One of the guards raised a weapon, but Correa rushed forward, faster than the wind. She grabbed his arm and threw him back, not to hurt, but to stop him. The second guard froze. The third ran to Elias, picked up the control switch and crushed it under his boot. "It's over," he said. "No more hiding. No more destroying." The passed. Later that evening, the Earth Peace Council ship finally landed. Its lights were bright. Its officers walked with calm steps. They had watched the recordings. They had read Ilias's reports. The overseer was removed from power, the corporation's control was suspended, and the colony was handed over to a new peacekeeping team. Elias stood with Correa and the workers in the central square, the council. Officer, a calm woman with a kind face, spoke into a camera for all to hear. "The people of Zarek 7 have spoken, and they have been heard. Today, this colony is free." Cheers rose, not loud but strong. Correa looked at Elias. "You did this?" Elias shook his head. "We did this." In the days that followed, the chains were removed, the collars taken off. The workers were given the choice to stay or leave, and he chose to stay and rebuild. Correa was offered a leadership role among her people. She accepted with grace. Elias was given the chance to return to Earth, to speak at a grand meeting, but he chose to remain for now. "I want to see this through," he said. One night, Correa met him at the old temple. The Heartstone gate still glowed softly. "This place is safe now," she said. "Because of you," Elias replied. Correa looked at him. "You gave us your voice when we had none. You stood when no one else would." Elias smiled. "I just did what was right." Correa handed him a symbol carved from the temple wall. It looked like a flame rising from a stone. "A gift," she said. "From my people to yours." Elias held it gently. "I'll guard it with my life." The last chain had broken, not with war, but with courage, truth, and unity. And in that moment, Zarek-7 became something new, a home. The sky above Zarek-7 was clear for the first time in weeks. The dust had settled and the red sun shone softly across the land. It was still hot, still dry, but something had changed. The colony, once cold and silent, was now alive with the sound of new hope. Elias Trent stood at the edge of the worker camp, watching the people move freely. There were no more callers, no more guards shouting. Workers from every species now walked together, talking, laughing, helping one another. The fear that had lived in their eyes was slowly disappearing. A child ran past him, tear. The young alien boy Correa had once protected. He was smiling now. Playing Elias smiled too. Inside the old meeting hall, Correa stood in front of a group of workers. She spoke with strength, but also with peace in her voice. "We are no longer slaves," she said. "We are no longer just workers. We are builders now, of homes, of honor, of truth." Many nodded. Some clapped. Others simply listened with quiet pride. Correa was now seen not only as a fighter, but as a leader. After the meeting, Elias stepped beside her. "You speak well," he said. Correa gave a small smile. "I speak for my people, and they're listening." The Earth Peace Council had set up new offices in the colony. Peacekeepers worked beside the people now, helping to rebuild homes, set fair work hours, provide real food and medicine. A monument was being built near the center of the colony. It showed a simple image. Two figures standing side by side, one human, one alien. Below it, the words were written in many languages. "We stood together. We rose together." In the evening, Elias visited the Heartstone Gate again, the temple. Below the surface was quiet, but the light in the walls still glowed softly. He ran his hand across the ancient stone, remembering everything that had happened. Kara joined him there. "This place belongs to all of us now," she said. Elias looked at her. "Do you still think of leaving?" She was silent for a moment. "My people once dreamed of running far away. But now, I think we must stay and protect what is ours." Elias nodded. "And I'll stay too. For a while. At least for a while." Weeks, the colony became something new. Homes were repaired. New shelters were built from scrap metal and stone. Children played in the open. Music could be heard in the air, simple songs sung in old alien languages. Long forgotten, but now returning, Correa created a small council, made of workers from different species. Every voice mattered. Every decision was made together. Elias worked with the new peace team, helping guide the changes, making sure the mistakes of the past would not return. One day, a large ship from Earth arrived. It carried reporters, leaders, and peace council members. They had come to see the colony for themselves and to speak to Elias. "You're being offered a high position," said Counselor Vale, a kind woman with silver hair. "You could return to Earth, help lead peace missions across the galaxy." Elias looked down at the dusty ground. Then he looked out toward the colony. "There's still work here," he said. "Real work. Not in offices or meeting rooms, but with real people." Vale smiled. "You've changed." Elias shook his head. "No, I just finally started listening." That night, a celebration was held in the open square. Fires were lit. Food was shared. Stories were told from many worlds. Correa sat beside Elias near the main fire. "This feels like home," she said softly. "It is," Elias replied. "A home we built together." Children danced in circles. Old workers laughed. Even the peacekeepers joined in, smiling and relaxed. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. As the fire burned low, Correa took something from her belt, a small pendant made from the same glowing stone as the Heartstone Gate. She handed it to Elias. "This belongs with you now," she said. "You may not have beasts blood, but you carry a warrior's heart." Elias held the pendant tightly. "I didn't save you," he said. "You saved each other. I just stood beside you." Correa nodded. And that made all the difference. Time passed. More changes came. A school was opened. A library was built inside the old storage shed. The Heartstone Temple was declared a protected site. Teams came from other planets to study it, but only with Kyria's approval. And slowly, Zorak 7 became known by a new name: Hearthstone Colony, a place where the fire never died, a place where chains were broken, and a future was born. Elias eventually sent one final message to Earth: "I will not be returning to headquarters. My mission is complete, but my heart is here now. This place changed me. These people changed me. We came to bring peace. But in truth, I learned peace from them." Commander Elias Trent, many stories were told in the years to come. Stories of courage, pain, and victory. But one story was always remembered by all: the beast woman who would not kneel, and the human who stood beside her and said, "Enough